The serpent eats its tail. Observe what is occurring in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. These are areas that are notorious for the prevailing of the dominant male. Patriarchal consciousness that is presently ripping humanity apart emotionally. The nature of the destruction in these areas reflects some of the worst violations to human rights that have ever occurred in the history of your plane. It should be remembered that this geographical area was formerly the Persian Empire, home of the Philistines. Look to the Bible if you have no other source. For even there, the records of the distortion of the human consciousness is evident. For these were the lands of Sodom and Gomorrah. Expect the process of the embattlements in the Middle East to escalate and be played out in many thousands of isolated instances that would create a very long and progressively destructive drama. One that would be felt in every corner of human society, every culture across the globe. You will lose focus on the actual occurrence if you get locked into looking at isolated instances and individual personalities. It's kind of, you gotta drop the ego. I gotta drop the ego. Speaking for myself here, this individual within a group, collectively, of souls. Ego is not the amigo, and it's a blinder. Ego. So drop the ego. Whoosh, blinders off, and see with eyes to see, and hear with ears to hear. When looking at isolated instances and individual personalities. So, try not to do that. Just a suggestion. Be like the winged ones. See it from a bird's eye perspective, the bigger picture. Remove yourself in the third dimensional aspect, and you see right through the BS, the belief systems, the bullshit, the illusions, the lies. These are the actors on a much bigger stage, where an ancient war of angels plays itself out for the control of this plane of reality. You are witnessing the human psychodrama being played out at the most base level through war. And I'm going to interject here. I live in North County, San Diego, in a rural area called Duluth, Duluth. And it's about 3.5 miles away from the largest, according to it's not the largest military base, but it is the largest above ground military base in the United States. Above ground. And recently. It's always summertime in the hottest months when they start their war games. They drop C4, bombs, constantly bombs, dropping bombs into the earth, practicing war. I say they, I don't blame them. When I drive past Camp Pendleton, I like to say out loud, bring home our brothers and sisters. I believe, I know, we collectively can put an end to war. But love must be the weapon. And a wise teacher, a wise friend, once said, let love be thy weapon. Replacing fear with love. Love conquers all. I continue reading now. That was just a quick little share. And there are times, I'll tell you this, be completely transparent, when I'm walking around the yard barefoot and a bomb is dropped and it's so loud, whatever I'm carrying ends up flying out of my hands and I drop to the ground. Not out of fear, out of pain. It hurts. It hurts in my gut. In my womb, my woman womb. I believe, or I equate this feeling to what the earthly mother feels. Continue reading Ghost Wolf's words. These lessons in these areas will be hard and will reach a level over the next 3 to 4 years where their drama will threaten the whole of the known world. As it is seen now, it is inevitable that in this area there will be the eruption of a major war. As the human conflicts rage once again, and the fighting is renewed. Guys, I don't know if you can hear, but I'm having a little bit of trouble right now because my house is shaking. So pardon the moments where I stop reading. The bombs are constant. War games. The higher consciousness is almost completely closed down. Simultaneously, fantastic phenomenon having major global impact will also be occurring. This area has huge warehouses of devices that include germ and chemical warfare substances. These are very unstable and are stored in mass quantities. An accident could surely cause the end of all life within these areas. Its physical containment would be difficult given the ease in which world travel is exercised today. There are 3 possibilities for this region. First, if the balance of the principles of male and feminine energies are accepted, then the situation will, of course, diffuse of its own accord. Presently, this outcome is highly unlikely. Secondly, a holographic projection will appear in the skies of whichever deity is held most dear in the hearts of the people. In other words, Mohammed will appear for the Muslims, Jesus will appear for the Christians, and so on and so forth. This hologram will be manipulated so that the whole world will stand witness. A fiat will then be issued to cease and desist. All of humankind will be able to view this moment, frozen in time through the media. Thirdly, this entire experience, including the life forms that created this drama, will appear to dematerialize. Nuclear destruction of the earth or multitudes of people will never be allowed. I like that. Many of the plagues now on earth are the results of experimentation done by the so-called secret world governments. Their time is almost up. The gig is up. We can see them, and we're coming for them. Many of your new strains of viruses are the result of the war game you have called Desert Storm, where billions of particles of death, here we are, coroner, it's, the time is now, wakey wakey. I got a little lost. Lots of bombs. Anywho, I'll reread that sentence. Many of your new strains of viruses are the result of the war game you have called Desert Storm, where billions of particles of death were released into your atmosphere to wreak global destruction on innocent people. There is another possibility, however, and that has to do with the photon belt. When Earth comes close enough to the photon belt, the effects will neutralize your present technology. Now, all we can do is watch the unfolding of the events and allow enough time for humankind to awaken and choose another course. We can redirect this. We are redirecting this. Hope is a verb with her sleeves rolled up. Time and time again. In no time. If that awakening does not occur, there will be an intervention. The Earth's vibratory level will rise slowly, although for some, the tension of the increased frequency is already causing disruptive pressure. Individuals with locked consciousness are already feeling their reality tear on emotional levels. We will experience this emotional turmoil through the breakup of relationships, the sudden impulse to move to another career, or even the desire to just pick up and move to a totally new location, leaving behind jobs, family, and dreams. These are all actions taken by the God of your being. It is the I am within you that will not allow you to live in an environment which is not in harmony with your inner being. As it has been said in the Bible by the Lord Sananda, Yeshua, or Jesus, many names, the being of many names, with my coming shall the wheat be separated from the tares. This statement is taken out of context from a brilliant prophet addressing the potential occurrences of this time. That he was brilliant. And it has been abusively misused to cause separation amongst the people. So true. That is facts right there. Fortunately, here we go with the hope. Here she comes. Fortunately, some of you already understand that the second coming of the Christ, or Christos, is the raising of the Christ within each and every one of you, and not the materialization of a single Messiah. Ooh. All social structures will fracture from within as the Earth's vibratory level rises. Every single one of them, for there is not one of them that carries forward the whole truth. The ability of institutions to be flexible, open, and honest will determine their future. New Age, Old Age, Radical, and Traditional, all categories for the effect of change, will be unilateral. These organizations that are rigid and refuse to stretch, grow, and take responsibility for, air quoting, his story, end of air quote, are dissolving overnight. Bye-bye. Bye. B-Y-E. Bye with the lies. This is happening within your state and federal governments, within your world banking institutions, and within your religious institutions. Eventually, it will filter down to your local municipalities and even your own families. Institutions, structures of all forms, and all governments based on patriarchal tyranny have fostered thought forms upon the earth plane that are archaic and dysfunctional, leading humanity towards an inevitable path of self-destruction. You must be aware that there are those heavenly hosts of beings who had a hand in your creation, and at this very, I almost said fucking, but I said fucking, but fucking, at this fucking moment, are laying claim to their property, both real estate and human. This archaic consciousness, which has dominated your world for over 10,000 years, has served its purpose. Its time is done. There are some courageous souls who hold the space between self-destruction and self-realization. Oh. But social attitude and the addiction to fear is fast-reaching. It's fast-reaching a level where most of these voices will need to seek refuge in the mountains of your world. You are a judgmental lot. There is still time before the windows close. When these voices go to the mountain, it will be to hole up for a brief but turbulent period of your experience. To you romantics, you may hold on to love, but also grow in your understanding. It is but a brief time before the prophets of old see the coming of the golden age. We hope that those of you who read or hear this information will be among those who choose to persevere. Keep going and never give up. Many of you meet someone, merge into a relationship with them, and find in a matter of a few months, or in some instances weeks, you have experienced an entire lifetime. One or both of you will be left in the unfamiliar position of having outgrown the relationship in short order. Learn to pass through these dramas without becoming attached to the outcomes. Practice non-attachment. Many of these experiences are being called forth so that you may release the residue of resentments harbored for many lifetimes. All coming up. Release. Let go. Make space for the new. The web. You are in the plane of action. The human drama must either be totally accepted within each of you, or it will play itself out in the physical realm. Again, the old paradigms are dispersing. You are experiencing the growing pains of a new consciousness. Similar to birthing pains when a woman is in labor. The new life form is taking its own identity, and space is forming its reality within the womb. It possesses its God essence. The two of you are simply, momentarily, sharing the same body. Again, the old paradigms are dispersing. You are experiencing the growing pains of a new conscious, remember? Remember the true understanding of the balance of the male and female energies, which can and must be experienced within. Only then can they be expressed in the outer manifestation you identify as your life. It all has to do with energy, not gender. Gender is only third-dimensional expression. You must understand that what is occurring throughout our world on yet another level is occurring to the whole of the embodiment of the galaxies. True. It is by no means restricted to just this little planet. Please know this. It is by no means just restricted to this little planet. Our connectedness to all is difficult for us to assimilate because of our limited view of subjective reality, a perception that fosters the concept that Mother Earth is a thing, a chunk of dirt and rock. So far from the truth. Oh, she's quite alive. Humanity has lost its objectivity and its ability to see the whole picture because of the state of amnesia that exists within your consciousness. The consciousness of humanity is ill. Do you not agree? Doesn't even matter when all matter matters. This consciousness of humanity, which is ill, is out of focus. It has been deprived of the nurturing truth it desperately needs. Mother Earth is a sovereign being, possessing both her own vision and emotion. She has a galactic family of her own. The meteor experience with Jupiter in 1994 was much more than it appeared. Google it. It was impregnation. Google it. Mama getting pregnant. Earthly mother impregnation. Bam. Quite an interesting perspective. So true. Jupiter accepted the divine sparks for the new solar system, which will replace this present one when the solar system shifts into a new experience. Jupiter is destined to become the new sun for this region, and will as such remain within the confines of the third dimensional reality. It was no accident that precisely 21 pieces of the asteroid comet struck the planet. But that story is for another time. Several of our prophets have spoken of the appearance of two suns. These suns exist in the solar system, your solar system. Look to your ancient writings. Some of the remnants of these teachings exist to this day. They are hidden beneath the Great Pyramid in Egypt. They can and have been assessed. The Mayan and the Hopi people also possess a knowledge of these ancient teachings. We tell you now, the two suns already exist. Two suns reminds me of my strange, but birthmarks. All I'm gonna say is birthmarks. Anybody got strange birthmarks? Want to share? Please do share. I'm wondering if anybody out there that comes across this has two on their left leg that are circular-ish. When your solar system realigns, both suns will be able to be seen from Earth as they were in ancient times. The turmoil that humankind is presently experiencing is necessary so that you will know beyond doubt that life is a continuum, not an isolated event. there are many professing to hold the Christian teachings of the Master Jesus. Many of these people would have you believe that after a handful of years, and within one single lifetime, your soul is ready for judgment. Boxy. Break out of those boxes. Into either eternal bliss or damnation. Right? Religion. Skewed. How is it that such folly and ignorance remain unchallenged in a civilized world? Great question. The teachings of Master Jesus, Yeshua ben Yosef, Sananda, Christos, Magdalena, they were about the Christing of humanity. They were designed and delivered to give hope, which is a verb with her sleeves rolled up, to the Western culture, so that you would understand there is indeed life after death. You were to have learned from him or her that death is not the ending, that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that God, the Father, dwells within all of humankind. In your desperation to justify your dogmas and petty existences, you have imprisoned yourselves within the walls of limitation, remembering almost no trace of your divine origin. You have fallen asleep at the wheel. Wakey, wakey. You are immersed deep within the spell of mortality, dreaming the separation between time, space, events within the universal field of potential realities, pure potential. As if these moments were all there was. The serpent eats its tail. That's a wrap. Oh.